Chat, hear me out. Do you want to know how to do keys, but you don't really know how to do keys? Well, this video and this series is for you. We're going to start with Murazond's Rise. Here you can see the route we're going to do. I'll put a link in the description. And here we go. We got my helpers here. It's Moistory, Step, L, and Delco. And we're going to blast. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make a big pull at the beginning. We're going to pull the first 3 packs together. So we got the 2 on the patrol. We got this first pack and we're pulling that pack too. We're going to lust on this bull and absolutely give them the biggest dicking down of their life. We're going to be interrupting corroding volleys. We're going to be stunning any casts that we see. We're going to be pointing the frontal away. We're lusting this bull because we don't want to lose a cast of lust. And we don't have a boss fight for a good 7 minutes. So you want to lust on this pack, pull it big, just blast away. Make sure your healer heals shit. It's bursting weak, so we need to be a little careful with that. Next pull here is this Keeper. The Keeper does a couple abilities. One, he casts this big bubble on the ground. You're going to want to stand in that bubble, but you're going to want to pull the mobs out. The bubble reduces damage taken by anybody in it, so you want to be in it. You don't want anybody else in it. We're going to dodge the swirlies, we're going to interrupt the maguses, and we're going to point the frontals away. That's the whole thing. This guy's got a ton of health, so he takes for fucking ever. Next, we're moving on to the second mini-boss on this platform. That's the Maiden. Maiden has a couple abilities. First one, she's going to shoot an orb. If you like balls in your face, this is the mini-boss for you. If you don't like balls in your face, please dodge the orbs. She shoots at the ranged people, so look out. You can see one's about to come my way. I'm going to sidestep it, and then it's going to boomerang back, so I'm not going to move back into that little area. The other things we're going to do here is we're going to interrupt corroding volleys, stun any cast, point frontals away. That's this whole thing. Also, mini bosses, it's fortified. Tons of health, so they take forever. It's okay to pull 2 mini bosses together after their little ads are dead. They don't do that much. Next, we're going to move on to the third, which is the Sentinel. Sentinel does a charge with a sandstorm. You're going to watch here in a second. I'm going to stand right in this charge, which does damage. Well, I'm real good at the game. And then we have this, that we need to step into that storm and interrupt it, but all our interrupts are down, so L's dead. And we're going to interrupt cast and do the interrupt on the sandstorm, and we are just blasting this boss with a ton of health. Once all 3 mini bosses are dead, Tyr is going to come in. When Tyr comes in, he's going to do a knockback. Tori found this out the hard way. Watch, and I'll see you later. Tori gets blasted off the platform. Everybody laughs and has a great time. Tyr has about 30 seconds of RP, so you can make sure you can blast your cooldowns on that last mini boss. And then incoming Tyr. You see Step's going to pull it against this platform because Tyr does a knockback on the tank, and that way he doesn't get knocked back anywhere. Spark of Tears come out. That's these little glowy circles you see. Tori is going to dispel those one at a time. Don't dispel them both with mass dispel or revival or anything, because they do damage when they explode, which is real not good. You see there, we're baiting a conal frontal backwards. We always want to bait backwards so that way we can maximize our space. And then last is going to be the dividing strike, which you will see everybody's going to get in the dividing strike to split the damage with the tank. After Tyr cycles through all these abilities, we're going to go into phase 2. Phase 2 is basically just stay alive. Don't pull those ads over in the corner and collect balls. You can collect up to 5 balls for a 50% haste buff, so you want these balls. Collect these balls, don't let them hit that center pillar, and then just continue to deep dick dive dally dumpster on the boss. After phase 2 is done, we're going back straight to phase 1, and it's rinse and repeat from there. Probably 2 ball phases. If your damage is a little lower, it's tyrannical. It could probably be 3. Just go for 2. 2 is good. When you're done here, you're looking to be at about 8.5 minutes. That's when you know that you're doing pretty okay on time. After Tyr's done getting his ass blasted, we're moving up to the dragon pole. This is the first of the big dragons. Dragons have a lot of health. We're going to want to pull that down from the stairs so your healer doesn't freak out about LOS or cry or mana or some crap that they always do. And we're going to interrupt the Marauder. Marauder does that. It casts a shield. You want to interrupt it, and then you just want to blast the dragon mostly. Big AoE Fury here. You want to hit Zephyr L. Zephyr L! And then you continue to just blast the boss. Without Zephyr or a defensive there, you're probably going to die, as they found out the hard way. And you just keep blasting this dragon. It's a lot of damage. You want to use defensives there and big DPS cooldowns because you have a little intermission. On the intermission here, you can see that part didn't happen. And then we are going to show you my first of the hero plays. Just watch this masterful display of amazing Frogger style ball and frontal dodging here. You can just see how amazingly perfect this little run is. Look at this. This is just like tempting fate. All the balls in the world and we are good. Look at how amazing I am at this little Frogger game. I don't lose at Frogger Rippy no matter what anybody else says. I'm pretty good at this. You just go straight down the middle. Why not? The best strat's probably to go around the edge for most of it and down the middle. If you have an immunity, you can actually immunity these balls and run through for your 8-second immunity or whatever, and it's no big deal. Once you're through the balls, it's time for my favorite part, I like to call 2 dragons. It's about to get freaky in here. There are not 1 dragon with a lot of health, but 2 dragons.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna get weird. 2 dragons.
These dragons are a great spot for your second lust. We don't have lust up quite yet, so we are going to just blow all our blow cooldowns, defensives, and just blast this boss. The next part's pretty easy, so you just want to blast these 2 dragons down. It's good to focus on 1. That way, if your healer is, a little crybaby or whatever, just focus 1 so it's a little less stress on the healer or whatever. The dragons have a lot of health, so we're going to speed this up a little bit because they take forever. Next up is Arrakis, or actually the sand pit, or whatever you want to call this. For the sand pit, you have to kill the little ads to blow up and clear the sand. The goal here is to open both portals, one on the right and the one on the left, so we can get to the next 2 bosses. First, we're going to go right to the middle here, and then we're going to go to the right. We're just going to clear this sand. You actually have to get near to the portal in order to have Morchi or Chromie go over there and open it up. And then we're going to go to the left portal, which is the boss we're going to go to first. In fortified routes, it's okay to go to Morchi first because that helps with the lust timing on the tank instead, which you'll see later. We don't actually do that, but we are going to blast these ads. You need to leave here with 71%, so you're going to have to pull extra. We pull, I think, all of the little fusions, and then we go to the left. This pack is basically inconsequential. Just interrupt and dodge the swirlies. This is no big deal. It's kind of a waste of time. Then we are going into Battlefield Azeroth. This part has 2 different versions you can get. One's Horde, one's Alliance. The abilities are exactly the same. First up is the tank here. If you went to Morchi first, you're going to want to lust this guy. He also has a lot of health. He's not a dragon, but he's got a lot of health. Blow your cooldowns on this tank, blow it up as soon as possible. He's going to do Bottle of Mortar here on Step. See, Step's going to sidestep all of that fiery stuff. He's going to keep casting that thing all day, and you're just going to want to get out. Then he's going to let these bombers go, which are going to target people and just run at them. They blow up in you, and they do damage with a dot here, which Tori just takes care of because I just stood in mine like a champion. We're going to keep blasting this tank. You probably want to avoid the little guys so your healer doesn't cry, but you never know. Move out of that little fire, and then it spawns the next trash. There's 2 versions. There's a Horde and Alliance. Alliance version casts Consecrate. Horde version casts Earthquake. It's the exact same thing. Just get out of it. A couple ticks will kill you. You're going to want to interrupt the rallies and the heal. They're called different things on Horde and Alliance, but just interrupt that stuff. We don't do a good job of that. Rallies get off. It's great. And then you kill these, and the boss spawns. We have the Alliance version, so it's Anduin. The Horde version is Gromash, but it's the same exact fight. The tank's going to tank him, pull him to the edge of the platform, and point him away. The main thing here is you want to avoid killing the Alliance troops with these frontals. See this frontal? It's going off the side. I'm pointing mine away, and then we do a good job of pointing those frontals to the edge. If he kills Alliance troops, he gets a big buff, which will start making him wreck the tank. The tank also gets a big debuff on them that reduces healing taken by 75%. That's not great. He also summons these ads. The ads, you have to interrupt the caster ad and just blast these ads down as fast as possible. The last thing he's going to do is the whirlwind, which you saw there. He targeted me. You want to kite this to the outside of the room. If you kite it through the middle, he kills ads, gets big buff, tank cries, and dies. So make sure you are always on the edges, never in the middle of the room, and always not near the allied troops. After a couple rounds of these mechanics, Anduin's going to go down like Tay-Tay on Travis, and we are going to move on. We're going to skip these next trash. You don't need anything special to skip that. Just wait for him to patrol away from the platform. And then we are running straight across. See the balls? Don't touch the balls unless you're like us and you're a trolley and you love to kill your friends. We're going across here to Morchi. We're actually going to skip this pack. We're going to pull it after the boss. We're just skipping it for less timing. Our less is off cooldown, so we're going to use Mind Suit. You can use a potion. You can use Shroud. And we're just going to skip it. The more thing here when you're skipping is you don't run through these portals, because if you run through these portals, you're going to spawn the ads, and then the rest of the group is going to start flaming you in Discord and crying, and it's all around just not a good time. Morchi is next here. We're going to pull it to the edge of the platforms because it has a big old frontal. I actually don't blow my cooldowns and lusts until after the first hide phase. Because you only get about 10 seconds before she does first hide. So point the frontal off the platform, do some damage to the boss, and then you can see here that Morchi is going to split up into a bunch of Morchis that all have different hats. You're looking for the one without a hat. I'm going to zoom in here. We actually got a good spawn. It's right next to us. This is the one without a hat. You see all the kinds of different hats? You want the one with no hat. You go stand next to this mob so that way you don't get double dicked by this frontal that will basically kill you. Then we're going to blow Lust and all my cooldowns, and we're going to do a whole shitload of damage to Morchi here. While there's basically no mechanics except this little sandblast, which double dicks on the tank, and you want to make sure that you have defensive up on that, especially on Tyrannical. Next, Morchi's going to spawn a bunch of these time traps, which you don't want to stand in because you'll get stunned, and the healer can dispel them off you, but you know, healers are mean, so they usually don't. But you want to use those time traps to trap your little friends. Your little friends are going to spawn, and you're just going to kite them into the time traps. We are going to move on quickly here, and we're basically just rinse and repeat. You can position yourself after the first time trap to basically have your ad immediately run into a time trap like I did there, because I am a Giga Chad. Next, we're killing all this little Mechagon trash here. No big deal. They do a couple mechanics. Just watch your feet. Interrupt casts, just like every other cast. Upcoming, there's more balls. Take a look at this awesome hero play that I'm about to do here. Elle thinks she's hilarious, runs over this ball. Step isn't paying attention. Uh-oh. Look out, look out. Hero play. Umo. And that's when Step promised me his firstborn son and a pick of enemies multiple wives. Next up, we have a dragon pack here. This dragon does a lot of damage. Make sure you use defensives to interrupt the other guys, because otherwise to put a shield on them make this pull take longer than it already does, and that's the last trash pack of the dungeon. Next up, we have Dios. Dios is the last boss. You have to pull him out of the skies. Chep's going to do that with a little chain lightning here. And then we are going to do these mechanics. I'm going to do the orbs so that way you guys can see. Usually it's either healer or a range takes care of the orbs. Everybody else wants to move out, so I'm going to step in an orb. The first orb's going to fall. It's going to do damage, leave a debuff. After the debuff wears off, I step out of the orb, and all good. The frontal does a huge dot to the tank, so the tank's going to need extra care there, defensives and heals. The main goal for this phase is you want to actually kill the keepers. The keepers are, you got to kill four keepers in order to move to the next phase, which he summons. So you just actually blast the keepers and cleave onto the boss. You can see here we're just moving through this. He summons 2 keepers at once. Tanks, make sure you get aggro on the keepers, because otherwise they blast the DPS and it hurts a whole lot. Phase 2 is coming up. So phase 2, you want to stack up so that way you bait all of the swirlies into the same spot. So we're going to stack here kind of poorly, and we're going to dodge these swirlies. There's a lot of damage coming out in this phase, so you want to use defensives, and your healer's going to have to heal on the run. It still does the frontal here, which is no big deal, and still does balls, which I'm still going to take care of. You want to time these balls well, because with the swirlies coming out, you want them to actually hit before all the swirly damage, so that way your healer has time to top you up. So I'm going to move out right as that hits, and we are going to move on. More swirlies. You want to use defensives here. Don't get hit by swirlies. Bait them towards the edge. If you're good, you can basically stack up, but we're just okay. And we move on. It's rinse and repeat here. The dragons are helping you out. This is probably the easiest phase of the fight, and we are going to win. After the dungeon's over, I say some real cringy shit, and I make them stack up for a picture. Special thanks to my little helpers here for this video, and we're gonna take this weird picture. If you want to get a hold of me, twitch.tv/Ravs85, Discord, that's our guild Discord. Come hang out with us. We're cool people. Thanks for watching.